Nice.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, Sebastian. Hi, Alexandra. How are you?
Good.
Preparing for weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, today we have a special guest, Alexandra, my business partner from RE7 Consulting Romania, is joining us for this session today.
Nice.
And she also brought a question with us. Should we directly start, Harry?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say welcome, Alexandra. This is Harry at Sub Talks. For anybody who's watching who doesn't know what it is, every week we come together for 30 minutes and just ask some topical questions for everybody to answer. So I'll let you guys start if you have one to go for today.
Yeah, the honor is yours, Alexandra.
Yeah, it's a question that just came in my mind this morning, and it's related with a book that I'm reading right now regarding leadership. And my question is connected with the relationship with the employees. So if we start to be friends with them, at one point they will start asking a lot of favors, like day offs, leaving earlier, not doing things, going on vacation. So the question is how we will deal to have a good relationship with our employees, but at the same time to have this position like not bossy, but to still have this position in front of them like a leader, you know?
Well, that's a tough,
Good question.
a tough but a fantastic question. And I'm wondering who wants to lead it. Do you want to go, Seb, or should I?
Yeah, I can, because we had this discussion already.
Yes.
And it's a tough one. I also know from Germany. At the beginning, it was more like friends and so on, but at one point you will figure out they're taking these friends too seriously, and then what Alexandra said, going early or coming later, leaving for something, asking favors. I think you have to set some boundaries, and if it gets too much, like if it's every week, or no, not every day, but every week that something specific is asked, you need to set a boundary. You have to say, you also have to ask what it is, you know? If it's like a funeral, of course, this is something else. But if it's just like, yeah, I want to meet a friend, you know, for example, and I think based on this, you need to decide.
I would like to add that this thing is happening in small teams or small agencies, small companies where, I don't know, there are 7, 10 people. And it's nice to be friends with them, going out, I don't know, knowing their personal lives, but still somehow needs to have this connection with them with a limit, not to get frustrated because you are just friends with them and giving them a lot of things, and at one point they will not give you anything back because I'm friend with Alexandra, I will not work today, which is not possible.
It's very true. I would say that for me, I can speak from personal experience. I've had 2 business partners that were friends. I've had a designer recently who was a friend, and every single time they don't work out because when you have your business partner as a friend as well as a colleague, you expect so much from them, and you expect them to reach your level of attitude, your level of commitment, where you want to go, and it just falls apart instantly because nobody will be able to match you as a business owner, your drive and your tenacity. So when you treat these people as friends, you kind of trick yourself into expecting them, because they're your friend, to be as passionate as you about the business, when in reality a lot of the time they're just employees. And this goes to show, because you can also trick yourself into relying on them a lot, and then they burn out because you're putting so much responsibility and trust on them. So when you build a more of an employee relationship where you're just giving them money, they're doing the job, and then they're leaving the job at the end of the day, you don't feel that temptation to send them a message at 3 a.m. saying, "Yo, are you awake? I've just had a great idea," because you understand there's a boundary. And I think it's something that you've said to me before, Sebastian, and it's about setting boundaries. So having that hard line where it's like, yeah, we're friends up to a certain point, and then after that point, it goes back to a working relationship. Although I'd like to add, like, you don't have to be an arsehole to your employees. I think you can. I think we can all still have that fun vibe with employees / colleagues, work colleagues.
Yeah, and I think it's also when you give feedback, to be honest, if something is bothering you, not waiting and like, oh, how will it be when I will tell the truth? Like, just say what's bothering and then discuss it,
Yeah, definitely.
What I am doing, I don't know if it's the right thing. It's all not so exhaustive, but still it's working, is that I created like a balance with what I'm doing and what I'm offering in comparison with what they are doing. Because sometimes they also are doing some things that are not in their contract working, or I know, small favors, please buy me things, or answering the phone at 8, I don't know for what reason. So I'm putting in these balance things and I'm trying to keep it equal. The question is, if it's not equal, how we will proceed? I mean, just going to them, hey, you just, your balance is too high and we need to cut these favors, or how we are telling them that they are friends, but not so friends. Like, it's tricky.
Yeah, it's tricky. You have to ask yourself, and as I said, healthy balance, and set some boundaries. I think otherwise it's not possible to do this.
No,
I think there's
really not
recipe that you can say, hey, I'm doing this always like this. You have to decide in the moment. And I'm fortunate I can speak with Alexandra, but I'm not sure we can discuss quickly by ourselves how we see things and then decide. If you are alone, I think sometimes it's tricky.
Yeah.
So to kind of round out this question then, what would your guys' one tip be to other agency owners who might be watching this to be able to maybe get better at this or improve on what they're doing?
From my experience with also other agencies from Romania, because when I start, some of them were my friends having the agencies in Romania. Some of them, they are in this environment, like we are a team, we are working together, we are making money together or whatever. Some others are just, you are coming here, you are doing your job and you are going home, I don't care about your life. And I think that there needs to be a balance between these two concepts, because on the long term, an employee will not stay or will not be motivated just to come and go just for working for money. So a relationship with the employees needs to be created from the beginning.
Sure. That's a really nice tip. That's a really nice tip.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We need to work on them, because doesn't help you when the employee is leaving every year, especially in big cities like Romania, where you have lots of competitors. It's easy that one employee just leaves for the salary somewhere else. So you need to create a space where they feel comfortable and they feel welcomed and they see that they can develop themselves in the company. And this belongs to it, like to create like an environment which is like what we discussed before, a healthy balance. Also the flexibility, they appreciate it, but we should put it like some limits there.
Sure. My tip to add to that is write down how you want the relationship to go from the beginning, so you have a plan to go off of as well. Sometimes plans don't work out, but in this case, if you have something written down, then at least you know kind of what you want to mold the relationship into. Really nice question, Alexandra. Thank you for that one. That was really good. I'll go next, if that's okay, Sebastian. We'll save the best.
I wanted to say, tell us.
We'll save the best till last. I was going to ask you both, if you were to start again tomorrow from step 0, which is quite scary because I know that you've both been running the agency for a while now, what would be your advice to your younger self? So your younger self is starting again tomorrow from scratch. What would be your advice to them? And you can think about it for a minute if you want, and I can start if that would be easier for you. So
yeah, you can.
I know my answer.
Okay, cool.
I know my answer because it took 5 years to discover it.
I think that's why don't you go then, Alexandra? I think that's a great inflection.
It's not a mistake, but it's a thing that I did at the beginning. I was thinking that I am a superpower and I can do everything. And my advice, if I would be at the beginning now, is to hire a salesperson in the company. Not trying to do by myself everything, marketing, contability, selling, because now when we took this decision, I'm feeling the difference, and I was wondering why after 5 years and not earlier. It's just timing, but this will be my advice for me, to find a person that can help me with sales.
Nice. Young Alexandra, I hope you're listening in the past. Cool. I would say for me, the young version of me who's just started out, the world is much bigger than your part of your country, and in reality, you don't have to work with somebody local. You can work with somebody anywhere you want, and it ties back into your bit as well, Alexandra. Like, find people who can help you deliver the work rather than trying to do everything that you can yourself. For me, I love sales, so sales will always be my thing. But for example, when it comes to building and designing websites, rely on other people. We talked about not relying on friends, but maybe freelancers that you get on with, you have a good relationship with, and have that trust to be able to give them the work. I think it's quite hard sometimes to have that trust to offset some work to them or to give it to them. You want to do it yourself because you think, as you said, Alexandra, I always used to think, I'm a superpower. My work is the best out of everyone, which is just crazy. But it's a learning experience for sure. So yeah, I would say to myself, the world is bigger than just your area where you live. Trust people earlier and faster to be able to get them to deliver the work.
Nice one. I would say, I learned a lot. I can write a book of it. The main things that come to my mind is don't sell the hour, sell the value to the company. I think this is really important, because if you want to sell an hour, it's different from company to company. You have companies that value this work much more than the other company. This is, I think, important. Then have contracts in place. That's something hard. Lots of freelancers had to learn to have a contract in place and to have some advance payment. This, I think, is also something we should all have. And these are the things that come to my mind directly, and I think they are really important, And
sure,
we could have learned or have done better if we would have done this from the start,
Sure.
About this time value rate, it's hard. Or for me, it was hard at the beginning, because I was thinking, what do you want? A Facebook page? It's 5 minutes. I can do it for free. So this was my mindset. It's easy. It's 3 clicks. I can do it fast. So why to think of this payment or to ask more money for it? I forgot the years that took me to learn and to arrive to have the knowledge in order to do it in 5 minutes.
Sure. Nice. Okay. Really good.
And positioning is also something I would like to add, that you position yourself, not go for all the clients, position yourself like you are a specialist for example, automotive, or you do websites for lawyers, something like this. So this is important.
Maybe I really liked your idea regarding people and team, because I'm seeing this very often on startups companies. They are not investing in team, in people, and they are thinking that they can do by themselves. And of course, probably because they don't have enough budget and they don't want to, I don't know, take a credit or find a solution to get the right people. So they are struggling for years, trying to do by themselves everything. And at one point, they will just collapse and everything will fall apart, because it's hard to keep a company. If you are a freelancer, yes, you can have 2 clients and you can live happily. But if you want something more than this, you need a good team.
Yeah, and I think this really ties into what I see with a lot of Webflow freelancers that I work with at the moment, who are designing and developing websites. They may do 1 or 2 clients a month, and that's like good money. You know, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to do that, because that's good money to do that. But if you want to be able to build that team and go further, the thing you want to be developing is not your website and your design skills. You want to be developing your leadership and your sales skills and building systems and processes inside your company. Like reading a leadership book like you're doing, Alexandra. You know, you want to be doing that rather than reading the website manual hundreds of times.
What books are you reading?
Books that I'm reading at the moment. Reading a book by Brendan Buchard about personal productivity and building your mentality. But I would say the 3 books that have really changed my life the last 3 weeks are It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work by the Basecamp founders. They also have a book called Remote, and they also have a book called Rework. And I've read all 3 now, and they've been life-changing. And it's really interesting because the Remote book came out in 2013, 2014, and they're talking about how remote work is going to be the future of the world, because nobody was adopting remote work back then. And they're telling you about why you should do it and why it's so good and some stuff they do inside the company to make it. But I skipped the first half of the book because they're trying to sell the idea of remote working to you. And I'm thinking of calling them and saying, guys, you need to rewrite the book because it's 2021 and everybody's remote working now, you know, like it's a really big trend. So It Doesn't Have to Be Crazy at Work would be my book recommendation for sure. But I think there's some really great answers to that question. Maybe we can move on to your Sebastian.
With the books was really interesting to hear, and I asked the question. I would be interested, how do you deal with clients that are asking a lot from you and want you to be available for 24/7? That would be the question.
Okay, nice. I have an answer off the bat, so I can
you can. Should I answer first, or you wanna?
You can if you want, Sebastian. Oh.
Then let me answer. So we had this in the past. That's why I'm asking this question. And we all know these clients that are really nagging. Most of the time, they don't want to pay much money, but they want to have everything from you. Try to see the red flags directly in the beginning of the relationship of the business meeting. And if you see that is this type of client, because there are some signals where you can see they want to ask for a lower price, they want to bargain with you, and they want to put more in the offer and asking you already at the beginning lots of questions. Maybe they call you on the weekend. These are already like signs or red flags where you say, okay, so this is going to be the relationship later, and then to decide if you want to work with them.
Yeah.
So you tell them like the process of making already the collaboration work took us so many energy, so we don't want to work with you. This is something that, of course, really really honest. Depends on the client how they react, or just pump up the prices that high that you say, okay, for this price, I would feel comfortable to work with this client, even if he is asking me a lot and wants a lot. But this price would compensate for what the customer is asking. And then most of the time, because they want cheap prices, they say, okay, you are too expensive, we don't want to work with you. Or in the other case, they say, okay, we want to collaborate with you, and then you should just make the contract not so long to see how it goes. Not that it becomes too stressful, because after 3 months, you know in which direction it goes, if it's healthy, the collaboration or not.
When you say that they're asking a lot of you, what are they asking a lot of me for?
Like work from you, free work, or not free work, but like for the website, because you're developing website, they would ask for lots of changes, all the time changes. Almost in the process that you are directly developing the website, they ask to change the entire design somehow,
Oh, that would be horrific.
Something like this. And they are sometimes also not so technical, and then they say, it takes 10 minutes maybe.
So there's two parts to that question, I think. First of all, if it was the website change one, which is the most crazy, it would just be like, okay, that's fine, but we're here on the budget. We're going to have to go back here, so it's going to cost more. You can walk away now, but we're going to charge you for what we've done so far. It's about having that boundary, and you always explain that at the beginning. Like whenever I take a client for a proposal, in my proposal it says, like with any other project, this has a time, a scope, and a budget. And if we go over that, then we're going to have to revisit and re-estimate. But I'm more interested in the meatier question, which is the change request stuff. I showed you guys a little bit of it when we did our talk the other day, but something that's really worked for us as an agency is building a request system around this. So at Imaginary Space, we have a policy that we've told all clients where changes can take either 24 hours if we deem them an emergency, 3 days, up to 3 days to implement them, or up to 2 weeks. Now, depending on how busy your agency is, maybe that's a sliding scale. But it works a bit like an IT support center. So they put in their ticket of what the problem is. It gets fired over to our task manager. A project manager picks it up, and then that gets dispersed to a team member. And once we've scheduled it, we send the client an email saying this has been scheduled for date. And then once it's completed, we send them some follow-up notes saying this has been completed. Here's a picture of what we did. Here's a note on what we did. What's an interesting behavior that I've noticed from this is that clients can not only choose when they want it done by, so they can say 24 hours, 3 days, 2 weeks. Usually they'll pick 3 days. Sometimes they'll pick 2 weeks, but they never pick 24 hours. And you'd think that'd be the opposite, because a lot of business owners are like, no.
It depends. For the website, you have websites. We have marketing campaigns where they're spending money continuously. So I would assume for us, they want to have the change fast, especially if they're wasting money on something they don't want to pay for,
So maybe a marketing agency's policy is different. Maybe we could do 2 days or 3 days in changes. But the other interesting thing is, would you like a quote for this now? Would you like me to bill for this after? Two options on our request form. And our bigger clients, the ones who are happy to spend money and aren't too fussed about pricing and quotes, will click bill after, which, as you guys know, when you don't have to write a quote and you don't have to do negotiation and it's just do the work, then send me the bill, it's a lot easier. And they know your prices. So as long as you're not taking the piss and giving them a 20,000 euro bill because you felt like it, then it's such a smoother process to get things done.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is really interesting, this concept.
So that's what we do. IT Imaginary Space's IT tech support ticket system, but it works for the minute. Maybe it burns next week, and I tell you guys it's terrible. Yeah, so far so good.
In my case, it's a little bit different because I'm working directly with the clients, and in marketing, they are calling or texting a lot.
Yeah.
Even if I'm in weekend, after work, vacation, and they have small things. Can you put this budget there? Can you stop the campaign? Can you give me an offer for another service? I spoke with a friend, and I think that this is very nice to do. Yesterday, I had 10 missed calls for a client that paid the bill. I don't know how. He did a mistake on the bill. So yeah, at 8. And since ever, my instinct is to call back, to answer, to solve it, not to postpone it, because it will be for me something, I have to call this client. Maybe it's easier for me to solve it now. And it's not bothering me, because I think it's also the relationship. And your question, I think it's also related with my question regarding the relationship with the customer, because if you are friends with them, again, they will say, Alexandra, make 2 banners more, set 2 campaigns more, because they know that I will not extra charge for these things. Somehow, we should probably make a standard package with the services, but in marketing it's very hard. I mean, we can't track 2 campaigns, and if you want 2 more, it's double the price. Because it's changing a lot based on strategy and also based on their business strategy. And with this, I'm handling just answering, or I have this message, fast message. Hello, I'm Alexandra from the7. Sorry, I'm in vacation. I will text you later, or la revedere.
Nice.
Which means see you
goodbye.
Again. Goodbye.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't have problems now with this. But somehow I think that the clients that we have, or the other clients that are signing contracts with us, they really appreciate this communication with them, not instantly, all day, all night, but they really appreciate the communication, answering them, being always there for them, giving them ideas. And I think in the end, this is what marketing should do.
Sure. So what's your like tip, Alexandra, for dealing with clients who are like, Alexandra, I want it done now.
You said something about working remotely. I was in vacation, and on one side I was thinking, I have to answer to this email. And on the other side, I was thinking, wow, I can answer from the beach. It's so nice to stay here and to answer emails. I don't know exactly what is the balance, but should be one. And I also prioritize the clients. If it's a big client, important client, I have a relationship, he's an old client, he will come first. If it's a smaller client and not so important, and I know that he's bothering me with some stupid things, I postpone it. So I prioritize the clients.
That's a good answer, I'd say. Prioritization. And balance as well. Prioritization and balance. The
I can add maybe some value to this. What we are using in the company is the Eisenhower matrix. You don't know about the concept, but we are using it. It's like if something is important or urgent, not important, urgent, and you can look it up. It's a really nice concept, and that's what we are using for tasks. But you could also use this for clients when they're approaching you to ask first, is it important? And the second question, is it urgent? And then you have these categorizations where you can decide when you are dealing with it.
Very nice. Okay, thanks, Seb. I'll make sure to look that up. And I'm sure whoever's watching will as well. So Eisenhower matrix.
It's from the decision book.
Okay, nice. We have reached our 30 minutes. So that was really fun. Thanks, guys.
On point.
Yeah, on point for the first time in 2-3 weeks, I think. So, Alexandra, you've made us lucky today, I think, altogether.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. It's been really good fun to talk to you, and as well as that, thank you, Seb, for joining as well, as always. If they want to follow you guys, where can they find you?
First of all, re7consulting.ro on Instagram, or Alexandra on your Instagram, LinkedIn account?
Alexandra Lovin is my name, and this is how you can find me.
Yes.
Also,
Nice.
Yeah, we will put it in the YouTube description so they can click on it.
Awesome.
And where will they find you?
Nice, thank you. There you can find me at Harry Roper on LinkedIn. I run a vlog, Harry Roper, on YouTube, and then our Instagram is Imaginary Space. It's a little bit quiet at the moment, but we'll be revamping that pretty soon. But yeah, apart from that, guys, we'll just say thanks. I think we'll end it there. Really good to talk to you both, and hopefully see you on the next one.
Yeah, have a nice day.
Have a nice weekend.
Cheers. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.